All right, so what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Two Crack GG. This is the official second channel for the Two Crack brand. If you know, you know. Today we're taking a look at a mouse that's been holding it down in my setup lately, the Redragon Impact M913. This thing is built for the MMO slash sim crowd, no doubt. But I've been testing it across tactical shooters, sims, RPGs, and even my regular day-to-day desktop grind. And listen, it's actually wild how useful it's been. Okay, so let's break it down, because that's what we do. We don't do all that weird stuff. Okay, so first off, the M913 isn't your average 6-button shooter mouse. I have plenty of those personally, and I've done reviews on this channel or showcases on this channel with those mice. You know what I mean? But it's rocking a whopping 12 side buttons right there on the thumb grid. Yeah, I know. MMO vibes, but hear me out. When you actually map it out right for comms, pings, gadgets, or weapon slots, this thing becomes a powerhouse for games like Arma, Tarkov, and even RPG shooters like Once Human or Dune Awakening. Yeah. So design-wise, it's got that angular gaming style, but it's not overdone. Blacked out, low RGB flex, and it just fits the hand very, very well. Slightly heavy, we'll get to that in a minute, but stable. The grip feels firm without being bulky, and even though it's feature-packed, it doesn't feel like you're dragging around a brick. Now, what really sold me was the dual mode connection. You got 2.4G wireless, which I've been using exclusively at 250 megahertz polling rate, and a USB-C wired mode. If you ever need to juice it up or go wired during a tournament or a longer session, the wireless is snappy, no noticeable latency, like for real. I've been playing with this thing in high pressure firefights, and it's been sharp every single time. Battery life, solid. You're looking at about 45 to 50-ish hours, and that's with the RGB on and moderate settings for a wireless MMO style mouse. That's clean as hell. Plug it in overnight once or twice a week, and you're pretty much golden. So now the M913 is running the PixArt 3335 optical sensor. Yeah, this thing is precise. DPI goes high, up to 16,000, but I usually hover around the 1600 to 2400 mark, depending on the game, and it usually sits at about 2000 to 2100. Yeah, depending on the game. So tracking is smooth, flicks are tight, and it doesn't freak out if you lift it a lot or go low sense like I do in some mil sims and tactical shooters. Zero acceleration, no prediction, just raw input the way you want it. I've used more expensive mice that just didn't feel this consistent, and I've used Redragon's other mice, and this one just has the flexibility and the punch and the input that I enjoy the most. So let's talk about the programmability, right? The 16 programmable buttons are the headliner here, right? 12 on the side, literally you have 12 little buttons on the side, 2 up top near the click, left click, right click, right, and then scroll wheel click, and then your profile DPI buttons on the buttons as well. So everything is customized with the Redragon's Pro software, which I heavily recommend. I currently have this particular mouse in 2 formats and 2 profiles. And every time I hop on another game, I just kind of customize it to that profile. But I currently have it to 2 profiles right now, and those are the 2 games that I play the most here on the channel that you guys see. And that's right now I have a profile for Arma Reforger, and I have a profile for Dune Awakening. On Dune Awakening, I like to keep the consistency clean. So for my hotbar, I use the side num buttons, or I use the side num buttons, yeah, we'll call it that, the side num buttons for my hotbar swaps, and that's where I'm using that. So when you guys see me playing or streaming Dune Awakening, and I'm hot swapping stuff, I'm not reaching my fingers up to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 through 0 buttons. I'm literally using the side buttons 1 through 10 for that if I need those, okay? It's usually actually like 1 through 8 in Dune Awakening, but in other RPGs, survival games, that's kind of what you can utilize that for. So that's a little bit of practical advice there, right? And something like Arma, I utilize that for other buttons, so where I want extensive button accessibility. So where I'm still utilizing my hot swap key up top, the 1 through 0, but then I reconfigure the side profile buttons for things like lights, lasers, sight zeros, canted aiming, all that kind of good stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's what I have. High ready, low readies. I kind of have all of that there, in particular for that. Just for that, right? So my armor profile, I actually use that as a key extender in that armor profile, so that when you guys are seeing me during my gameplays, doing the side and the swap and doing this and doing that and clicking on and off my laser buttons and zeroing sights and doing other actions, some actions of most those kind of like mechanical actions with the weapon and things like that are usually done on the mouse itself. Does that kind of make sense? You know what I'm saying? To me, it makes sense because with the mouse, you're looking, you're aiming, you're engaging threats, etc. In our Armor Reforger and games like that, you know what I mean? Those tactical shooters, you can apply this same concept in like Ground Branch and others, Ground Branch, Operator, Insurgency, Squad, Tarkov, whatever the case may be, and you can do that the same as well. But that's how I have that set up. So I have those two profiles right now, and then as I continue to go from game to game, I just set up a new profile for that game according to how I would like to play that game with this particular mouse. But for me, I feel like this mouse is perfect mainly for those kind of MMO style games, whether it be an MMO military simulation game like the Arma series and franchise, or something like Dune Awakening or Once Human or DayZ or whatever, Rust, all that kind of good stuff, RPG survival MMO, you know what I mean? So now think about the software is that everything is customizable through the Redragon Pro software. So you can download the software, which I highly recommend and heavily recommend, so that you can customize your buttons better and much more precisely and get the most out of the M913, which I have done, right? Is it flashy? Nah, but it gets the job done. Yeah. Absolutely. You can rebind, set macros, assign profiles per game like I was explaining, and adjust lighting without too much digging around. Here's a pro tip for you. Set up different profiles for different genres, different games, etc. Like I said, I've got one for Arma, and I have other ones for other MMOs like Dune Awakening, and I am continually going to develop other profiles, etc. If you want one of those profiles sent to you, you can just go ahead and hit me up on the Motar's Discord, link in the description below, and I can let you just email you that, or I can let you just DM you that profile, and you can let you just download and use my profile in your software, which is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And so I also have, I do have one set up for quick editing, etc. with the hotkeys, but I barely use it. It just sits there. That profile just sits there. I barely use it because when I'm actually editing, I don't really need it that big. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. So now I know some folks will see this mouse and go, that's for WoW nerds. That's for little MMO freaks. But listen, I've been running this in Armor Reforger, been running this in Dune Awakening, plan on running it in other games, right? And those extra buttons make a drastic difference. You get what I'm saying? As I was saying, you can utilize it for wherever you wanted to. Med kits, maps, inventory, team radio, squad commands, talk, voice comms, whatever you want. For me, like I said, I have mine mapped out currently, and I'm still adding more buttons as I see it, right? For weapon manipulation and other mechanics around the weapon, right? But you can continually add more as you see it and as you see fit, and extend your key fluctuation that way. You get what I'm saying? Key fluctuation. I meant to say key adaptation that way. You know what I mean? So it's all one thumb weight, you know what I'm saying? So if you're playing shooters with a lot of gear or tactical elements, you'll fucking love this mouse, okay? You don't need to use all 12 buttons. You can literally disable buttons in the software, which I have buttons disabled so that I'm not actually pressing those and doing other actions that I don't need to mid firefight and end up making the wrong action. You know what I'm saying? Or mid freaking quest, and all of a sudden I'm alerting enemies to our presence or killing my teammate or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. You can just the ones that streamline your flow is all you need. Okay. Oh, and for streamers, you can assign your OBS controls to it too if you need to, right? Mic mute, swap scenes, start, stop. It's like having a stream deck baked into your mouse. So that's only if you want to go that far. You know what I mean? It has some sellability for y'all. You know what I mean? So let's talk feel. The ergonomics are solid. Palm grip players, you're going to feel right at home with this bad boy. Claw grip, folks can use it too, but you'll be reaching for some buttons a little bit more. Click response is crispy, scroll wheels got good resistance, and the overall build doesn't feel cheap. It's plastic, but the nice kind. Doesn't creak, no weird flex, and isn't held up after, and it's, whoa. And it's held up after weeks of punishment on stream. I literally wanted to put in 40 plus hours with this mouse and with this keyboard, with the mouse and keyboard that I got. And usually that's what I like to do. I like to put in at least 40 plus hours before I drop any kind of review or showcase with this particular setup. And that's what I've been doing lately. Didn't start that way, but that's what I've been doing lately because I want you guys to see this in action consistently and actually being utilized and not just looked at it from a tech junkie's perspective and this is what you get, this is what it looks like, blah, 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 trying to sell you a product. No, I am trying to show you that, hey, I'm using light in this product, it works, and I like it, and I like it so much that I'm willing to talk about it, you know what I mean? And that's the concept here, okay? So here's the real deal. Woo. The Impact M913 is a straight up sleeper hit. If you're looking for a mouse that can keep up with your grind, whether that's intense MMOs, tactical shooters, or just multitasking life on your PC, this mouse definitively delivers. And yes, I added that in the script where it wasn't. It definitively delivers. It's affordable, wireless, customizable, and actually practical, especially if you like having your controls close at hand. So, alright, that's going to do it for this one. If you want to grab the M913 Impact for yourself, there's a link below with a code that will automatically, either one, you can automatically apply the discount code at checkout for you, or two, you can just apply it yourself if you don't want to utilize that link, but I just utilize the link. Right, it supports me and it tells Redragon I sent you guys. And if you're running a similar setup or have custom button layouts you swear by, like if you already own one, throw them down in the comments, or better yet, come to the Motars Discord and we could talk about it. Matter of fact, if we're playing the same game, say, hey bro, I got this, I utilize this profile, you want to check it out? Hey, send it to me, I'll check it out, see how I like it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always down to try new configs, 100%. Other than that, smash that like button if this helps you out a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream or review or gameplay. Whatever one happens first, just stay sharp, stay cracked, and peace and blessings.